You read the title of the video, you know why you're here. I basically reviewed Tomo-Chan as a girl in a previous video, and I had some thoughts on it that did not age well after I watched the ending of the season. So I am here to beg the anime reviewing gods to let me atone for my sin of judging a series too early, because Tomo-Chan as a girl is actually really amazing. The chemistry between June and Tomo is fantastic, and I have some great things to say about the series. However, there's one thing that was never explained and talked about that it needs to be addressed. Before we get into that though, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Phoenix, and I dive into the visual world of storytelling in anime and sometimes manga on a weekly basis, or at least I really try. Before we get into it, there's one rule you must follow. Make sure to grab your cup, whatever cup you got, whatever thing you got in your cup, because it's time to spill the anime tea. So if you did not watch the other video, but you would like to, check up here. But if you just want the Spark Note version of what I had to say in that video, basically what my main gripe was with the series 5 episodes in was that it didn't really give us any chemistry between Tomo and June, besides Tomo just kind of being in love with him for no reason at all. And instead it gave us a lot of backstory and interest into Tomo and her friends hanging out and trying to figure out their love lives and relationships, which was super interesting to me, and I really enjoyed more than the romantic aspect of the series. But that all changed about 8 episodes in, after I had already recorded and published my previous video. So, basically after I saw June's take and the way that he views Tomo, I instantly regretted making my other video. But I'm not going to take it down, because I'm a person, I can own my mistakes, and I can hope that the anime reviewing gods are gentle with me. Please be gentle. I, from the first 5 episodes, thought that the show was playing out in a traditional story structure where we basically only follow the main character's lead, and we only really get their perspective throughout the show, and we don't really learn the perspective of the main love interest at all. We don't really get into their mind at all. If we do, then it's going to be very little, and we're not going to really see how they view this other person. Kind of how it tends to go in lots of shonen, even some shoujo anime adaptations, where we're just really focusing on one character's perspective, and we don't always really see the other character's perspective until the very end, or they usually have to say it out loud. Because of the confusion that I gave myself on how I thought the story was gonna be set up, I thought there was a big lack of chemistry between June and Tomo. But the story flipped it on us, because we actually did get June's perspective in not just 1, but 2, I think, or even 3 episodes, where we're seeing through his perspective about how he views Tomo, how he thought about Tomo as a kid, and how he's come to learn to think about her now as they get older. This is something I did predict in my other video, that we would see part of June's reasoning for why he sees Tomo a certain way, and how he actually does see her as a girl. But I did not expect to get so deep into his psyche in a way that makes him feel like an actual human character and not just some horny teenage boy. The more we saw of his childhood and his relationships with Tomo, and even Misuzu throughout his flashbacks and his perspective of the show, I really understood his main hiccup. It's more that he saw Tomo as a rival, of course, that he couldn't keep up with, but also he reveals that he didn't feel worthy of standing beside Tomo as a person, not just romantically, not just as a girl or boy, but just literally as a person. He didn't think he was able or capable of being beside her, which made him very insecure, and which is why he struggled to try to figure out his feelings for Tomo now. And I hardly ever see a main male character say or admit that he respects the love interest that he is into as a person. He never makes her feel uncomfortable with being who she is, and that ends up being a really important part of the rest of the story that I freaking love. I also love that June's motivations could have easily gone into oh, Tomo's too manly for me, that's why I really can't address why, I like her, it doesn't make sense because she's too manly. But it never does that, and it says it from the beginning that it will never do that, and I appreciate and respect that it continued to keep that promise throughout the rest of the series. So basically, after watching the ending of the series, I was blown away. Like I said, with June's perspective and all, but even just the rest of the story, I freaking loved it. I really felt bad for underestimating the power of teenager emotions and the complexity of them, because they don't really have to make sense. They're teenagers, they never make sense. And I should have known that from the beginning. I let my adult glasses like blind my ability to perceive how teenagers can just like someone, and it can't be explained right away. Especially since I've complained about other series in the past, other high school romance series in the past, who don't let their clearly teenage, innocent characters really dive into or lean into the like awkwardness of being a being a hormonal teenager who is in love. I also really like that the show took so much time, took 5 episodes of time to really explore the dynamics and relationships between Tomo, Misuzu, Carol, their friendship, and them kind of figuring out feelings for the characters that they have throughout the show. And when they did reveal the male characters' perspectives, it didn't feel creepy or weird at all. It just felt like, teenagers falling in love and trying to figure out how these relationships work, and being afraid to mess up whatever friendship dynamics, whatever dynamics they had originally established long ago, now being changed because of these new romantic feelings that they have no idea how to handle. Except this relationship, because they are literally cousins. The best part of the show, though, for me, like the best part, beyond Tomo and Jun's relationship, which they have no good right to be that wholesome at the end. Like, Jun and Tomo are so freaking cute, and I'm mad at myself for saying that they didn't deserve to be together because they're so freaking adorable. But anyway, the best part of the show actually is the fact that Tomo never actually had to change herself in order to be accepted and loved by the people who accepted and loved her already. Like, I love that message so much. I think it's barely ever see that in lots of other slice of life romance anime that we're getting nowadays. So I really love the fact that they really harped in on Tomo being accepted for being the like masculine, beat up everybody type character who still has girly feelings on the inside, but does not have to physically change the way she looks in order to embrace both sides of her. Again, I never would have thought that a series that came from a hentai doujinshi creator would have a freaking theme or message about how this young girl who acts masculine does not have to change her masculine personality in order to be accepted by the people who love her already. Despite how much I am now in love with the show now and how amazing it is and everything great about it, there's one gripe, one thing that I mentioned in the other video that never gets resolved in the show, and I am really upset about it. Like, so what the heck was going on with Misuzu's character? Why did the show bait us with all of these scenes of her like leaning on Tomo and kind of seeming to be romantically interested in Tomo, like wanting to be physically close with her and like, trying to spend more time with her and keeping her away from Jun at some points, even though she's saying that she's trying to get Jun to like Tomo more or see Tomo as a girl? Why did it bait us with all this stuff only to never really address it in the end? There was literally a scene where Misuzu is talking about how she has to prioritize her own feelings at one point.
I'm sorry, Tomo. Time is running out. And I need to prioritize my goals now.
What was that scene all about? That never gets explained. What feelings did she have to put into the forefront? We never get to know, because the series doesn't want to address it for some reason. I am relieved at the end that Misuzu addresses like how kind of messed up it was for her to keep pushing this narrative that Tomo had to act more girly and act a certain way that Tomo wasn't really comfortable with in order to try to help her get the attention of Jun, when Misuzu knew all along that Jun liked Tomo for exactly who she was. So I am glad that Misuzu does apologize for that in the end. I think that was like a big girl move, and I enjoyed that. I like that about her character, because she does cause chaos and she does mess things up, but she has her own reasons for it, or at least I think she has her own reasons, because despite her apologizing for that, we still don't know why she did that. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm the only person who was insinuating this relationship because I have issues and I want like just to see, Misuzu's sexuality played out and like how it plays into the story. But let me know if I was the only one who saw this or like was thinking that it was gonna go this way and was disappointed that it didn't. Because I want to know if I'm crazy. It could just be my headcanon, and that's totally fine. It's fine to headcanonize as long as no one's being tortured over it. The series started off by promoting Tomo being herself to the very end, and in the end it delivered on that by having Tomo be herself until the very end. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Tomo-Chan as a girl? Did it Did it exceed your expectations? Did it fall flat? Or are you on the Tomo-Jun bandwagon like I am now? Let me know in the comments below. Find someone like Tomo who makes you want to be a stronger, better person, and find someone like Jun who makes you feel loved just for being yourself. If you do still want to watch a video where I judge Tomo-Chan a little too early, I'm still gonna leave it up because why not? I still have some aspects and things I said in there that I still stand by. Thank you so much for watching. Not every anime can be judged in 5 episodes. I know that now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.